Kids at theme parks. Can it be done? Can it be done and have fun? We got some tips and tricks for you to get the most out of your day if you've got little ones with you at the parks. Okay, so I get asked a lot, how do you take kids to the parks? What are some tips and tricks? And of course, my kids are a little older now. The Branson Fam here came in. They've got a couple little ones. They've got some great advice for you. So Paul and Jamie said, sure, we'll come in and we'll remind you what it's like to have a little one. And help you get the most out of your day with little ones. Speaking of which, hey, there's one of them. So we've got a little bit of a list here. And different ideas, different things. Some of the ones I remember from mine were little because we were crazy enough. My daughter was about a month old the first time we took her to a park.
That is crazy.
Yeah, yes, that is. Teen event, we had a whole bunch of teens we had to escort. And I'm like, well, okay, we got babysitters with us. Yeah, so you can't take really little ones. It's hard. What's the very first thing that you would suggest for somebody who's got little ones?
Preparation is key, is what I would say. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to things like the weather. Mm-hmm. Make sure that you check your weather apps. Make sure that if there's any kind of rain or anything coming in, you are prepared for that. Making sure that you know, what's the age limit that you have to start buying a ticket, or does your kid get in free? Because we have one kid that we do have to pay for right now and one that is younger that usually gets in free because she's below the age. Yep. We also make sure that we give plenty of buffer time in case we have any kinds of accidents or we need to change diapers or we need to stop along the way if we're going to the park. But I would also say in the park, if you have plans, give yourself plenty of time to get where you need to go.
But Mom, I'm tired. Yep. Yes.
Part of that preparation too, we think it's very important that you prioritize the things that you really want to get to and do those early on. And so like if we're going somewhere where it's somewhere for our kids, we actually let them pick like, hey, what is the one thing you really want to do? And so we make sure we get that because some things happen. Sometimes it doesn't.
So I mean, you don't wait to the very end of your trip to get the thing they want to do most?
We've learned that. If you want to avoid a lot of tears, that's our advice.
Oh, yes. Those people at Disney.
Prioritize what you want to do first.
We used to have people tease us when we went with our kids that, you look like you're carrying a suitcase because we would buy the biggest diaper bag that we could possibly find. And we'd pack that thing. We'd have changes of clothes for each of the kids, at least one, sometimes two, depending upon if it was nice weather. Extra changes of clothes because they were going to find the water and get into it.
Yes, always water.
Snacks.
Lots of snacks.
Parks will generally let you bring small snacks in for the kids, so you don't have to wait in the long lines and have cranky kids and cranky adults. And then our stroller. What kind of stroller do you guys have?
We use a jogging stroller, and I recommend a jogging stroller for the parks because that seems to roll over any surface much more smooth. Some people prefer other types, but I really think that's a parent preference and also your kid's size preference.
Now, two kids, do you have a two-seat?
We do not. Usually our 5-year-old can walk, and then if she gets tired, we'll throw our 3-year-old over our shoulders, and then we'll push the 5-year-old. So we make it work with one stroller. But some people, if you have a double stroller and you can make that work in the park, and you have more than one kid, go for it.
We had one right behind the other, and you could actually take the seat in front, lay it down. You take the seat in back and lay it down. You had this big giant bed. The stroller's real purpose, when they get tired, okay, lay them down, nap. It was storage.
Oh, yeah.
Put the diaper bag in there, throw your coats in there, and buy stuff. It went in there. So it was really storage for us. And then when somebody's little feet got tired, okay, then we could stick them there. But
we use it for that purpose as well.
We do. All the time.
Yeah, but we make it work with one stroller. That's us. We have 2 small kids. One stroller works for us. But that's not going to work for everybody, and we understand that.
Now, I know some people like wagons. Check with the parks, because not every park allows wagons. Disney does not generally allow the wagons anymore. In fact, Disney's gotten so restrictive, they actually will restrict the size of the stroller you can take in.
Mm-hmm.
And I know at some of the Disney World parks, you can actually find a box painted outside. And if your stroller doesn't fit in that box, it doesn't go in the park.
You want to always make sure you know exactly how your stroller folds up. You want to practice that. You want that time to be as little as possible because you're going to have children pulling you one direction. The crowd's kind of pushing you from behind. So you don't want to be there, uh-oh, how do I do this again? Do I twist here, then have to do this? Or how do I get it to fold back out? I can't get it. I'll just pull it along and carry my kid under this arm.
Don't be that person that the whole parking lot tram is waiting for because you can't fold up your stroller.
Right.
And we've all seen that person, guaranteed.
We've been that person one or two times, especially when we got a new stroller or when our kids were just born. So practice that and make sure you know how to fold up your stroller and how you know how to get it folded back out.
That was one thing that we really loved with ours because it was hold a handle and just collapse, and it was just flip it out. It was great that way. But yeah, not every stroller's that way. Some of them are more complicated. Yeah, because when you are that person, it's embarrassing.
Strollers had to get all serious about safety and whatnot.
Yeah, I
and
know.
Kids not being able to fold it up themselves.
Something like that. Yeah, the strollers that we used for ours when they were little probably would not be sold today. Okay, so other things. I kind of mentioned the diaper bag or the backpack. What else would you pack in there?
We always take a backpack, if not one for each parent. And like you said, we always take changes of clothes. Snacks, there are a lot of go-tos for us. We pack a lot of things that aren't going to melt, a lot of things that aren't going to...
chocolate.
Yeah,
No.
chocolate is not a good idea.
No.
So we really love like Uncrustables because that holds our family over until meal times and things like that. Goldfish, Cheez-Its, things like that. It works really well for our family. And that kind of leads to the mealtime question of when's the best time to eat? When is the best time to, what are you going to eat in the park with a family?
And if you're like us, every time you eat with little ones, somehow you find a way to get super embarrassed whenever there's everyone else around you. So we try to avoid those like main meal times, so like that 12 o'clock window for lunch, the 5, 6 o'clock window for dinner. So we'll take those snacks, we'll eat them, and then we'll wait for either a late lunch or an early dinner so that our kids aren't in that huge crowd of people all waiting for an hour and a half to get food because that's not what we want.
Yeah, so 2 to 4 o'clock is a great time. 7 o'clock is a great time. Yeah, because everybody else is eating at that point.
Yeah.
So.
And that's really what we aim for, like the snacks hold us over until that mealtime and we can avoid those long lines.
And cranky kids that are hungry.
Yes.
Those hangry kids.
You get cranky kids, hungry, the clothes, and then when they just get tired. So what do you do to avoid tired kids?
I think that having a stroller really helps with that. Taking breaks, if you can tell when they're getting cranky and tired and run down, that's a time to maybe say, okay, let's go take a little rest. Let's go drink some of our water. Let's go talk a little bit about what's been your favorite part today and give them a little bit of a rest to just kind of, take a calm few moments because you can get overstimulated, not only as an adult, but think about those kids too. Like, it's a lot at a theme park. It's fun, but it can be a lot.
Usually your general experience, too, with kids is they run out of energy faster than an adult, but they regain their energy faster than an adult. So that little tiny break gets them that burst of energy and they're ready to go again.
We found with ours, we've always been a rope drop family. Park opens, you're there before that to get in because there's less lines, you can do more. And then we found typically at Disney, because they would open up at 8, around noon, the kids would start to crash. Okay, so everybody else is getting lunch and long lines. We'll go find a quiet spot and sit, and everybody gets to recharge a bit. And then we go again for a little bit before actually eating. And then find those places where the parents can sit and watch the kids. Because every park has something like that. The ball pits, some play area. So mom and dad can rest and recoup. What else are your survival go-tos?
We usually freeze water bottles the night before so that's kind of like our little ice pack that keeps everything cold. And then we drink the water when it's unfrozen.
The key for the food is things that aren't going to make a mess, don't require a spoon or anything that you're going to have to clean. Just finger foods that can quickly go in, recharge that energy, then go out. And then we also always have the baby wipes in case we need those to clean up afterwards, quickly throw those away, and you're ready to get back having fun.
The other thing we always threw in, was cloth diapers or towels. because there were some things that the wipes just couldn't quite get off, and you just, or if the kid needs to dry off, you have a towel with that too. So we'd have both the wipes and some sort of cloth towel of some sort. Yeah, actually, you pack for an army.
You do.
But
For
it's
each
worth
kid.
it. It's
Each kid's their
worth
own
it.
army.
Preparation, as you said before you go, is key. And I tell people all the time, why do people spend all this money to go to a theme park and not have any clue about where they're going? With kids, it's even more important.
You want to know where the bathrooms are.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know the things that you are prioritizing that you want to go and do. You want to know where those are in the park and kind of lay out a plan for, okay, we're going to hit this one, this thing, this ride, and then this show, and make sure that they're kind of in the same space as you're making your way around the park.
And then, like, if you go online, you can usually print off a map where you like to put one of those in the backpack, too. Or right as you enter the park, there's the maps right there for Silver Dollar City, Shepherd of the Hills, the big amusement parks in our area all have the maps saying where everything is. Okay, well, we want to go here next, so how are we going to get there? Instead of walking around for 20 minutes and realizing you went the wrong way and been doing circles for the last 20 minutes.
And we do like using the theme park apps if those are available. But we've also had where theme parks are really crowded. Sometimes our apps aren't working or the internet's not working. So having that map printed out and with us in the backpack is extremely helpful.
Also helps you plan out things like shows. If you're Disney, characters, where they are, when they are, because that's all in there. If your little one is really little, nursing stations. Most parks have them now. Baby changing tables. Most parks have them, not just in the ladies' restrooms, but the men as well. Yes, Dad, you can change a diaper.
Don't tell her that. Wait a minute.
You can do it too.
First one to change both of my kids. But yes.
Technically me too. Technically me too.
Yeah. One thing, depending upon the park, Silver Dollar City is a lot harder for a mid-afternoon break to actually leave the park. And a lot of parks are like that, where you go and you're there all day. But if you're at a park like Disney parks are a great example, some of the Universal parks, if you're at a resort that's attached to the park, don't be afraid to take that mid-afternoon slot and pull out and go rest. I tell people all the time, you are better off taking 2 hours out of your park to relax at the pool, take a nap, whatever, and then come back in the park recharged, rather than trying to push through and have everybody cranky. And we'd see that at Disney all the time. You just, we're going to do Disney or die!
All day or nothing.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to take those breaks.
We have to do breaks pretty often with our kids, with just them being so young. And then we also remind them of expectations. Like, you know, we understand that everyone gets tired, everyone gets cranky, everyone gets hungry. So what do you feel like you need right now? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling hungry? Do we need a snack? And if we are too tired, it's getting towards the end of the day, then maybe it is time to go home.
Yep.
But you got to kind of read the room, and that's your call as a parent.
We're really big into the positive interactions. So, like, we want them to like the park. Well, if their memory of the park is them being forced to do something for an hour and they were cranky and miserable the whole time, they're not going to want to go back. They're not going to want to spend that family time that we look forward to so much.
And you mentioned, you kind of hit on something there, forcing the kids to do something. Don't force a kid on a ride they don't want to be on. As a ride operator, I would see this. You know, as a guest, you see it where you got the kid, I don't want to go. You're going to ride this. Don't do that to your child. Most parks actually have a policy that if they see a crying, upset kid, they can't run the ride. They won't dispatch it. But you don't want to traumatize the child either. My son was very scared of rides growing up. And we could talk him into doing the log flume with us. That was about as big as he got until he got a little bit older. That's okay for the child to be scared. Don't mock them. Don't ridicule them.
We live the other way. We want them to have a healthy fear that they don't have currently. Like, Charlie, our 5-year-old's a daredevil to the extreme. She wants to try every ride and doesn't understand that she's not tall enough. So why do I not get to do it? If he gets to do it, why do I not get to?
Yeah,
she's coming back in here.
That was my daughter. My daughter was the daredevil. I got a video on my channel that actually talks about the time I got in big trouble because I had taken her to the park without Mom, and we went on a couple of the big coasters she could go on that Mom was nervous about. And, you know, the good old, don't tell Mom. Hey, Mom, guess what I did?
Do you ever do that, Charlie? I tell you not to tell Mom, and then you tell her immediately?
Yeah. But yeah, work within the kids' limitations and know what they are, and don't try to force them into something that Doesn't work. Oh, another one that I would have people not know or not think about. Okay, we all talk about stranger danger. Tell them that people with name tags are okay. That if they have a problem, hey, look for somebody with the tag on, and they will help you. They're not a danger, stranger danger. Because I would have people at the train in particular, we'd have a lost child, and they didn't want to talk to me because I was a stranger. And it was like, hey, I'm okay. So prep them for that.
We actually have that discussion with our kids. Like, what happens if you do get stranded away from us? What happens if a line pushes you one way and we're going the other way? Or somehow we just get disconnected? And it's always go find someone that's working there and tell them that you need to find your parents, and then tell them your parents' name. We've already told them when they were very little, we make them learn our names and everything, not just mom and dad, so that they can find us. We do practice that.
Yep.
That's right.
One day, me and my sister were practicing it with our mom. Our mom pretended to be the stranger, but my sister didn't know yet. But I did, so I said, "No, you can't have any money, stranger."
An ID is good for kids, especially little ones. I've seen written bracelets. I've seen them do lanyards with their name and then a contact phone number on it. For little ones, that's a great thing. I have seen some where they've done a masking tape on the, stuck on the back of the child. Because then everybody gets to see it. I wouldn't do that.
One of the new ones is invisible ink on their arm, and the kid tells them that they need a black light, and they show it, and then it'll have the phone number of the parent on it.
That'd be interesting.
Or I've seen, like, they will Sharpie their contact information and then put the liquid bandage over it.
Okay.
So that, that stays with them and it doesn't come off on the water rides. But
just some way to put some ID and contact information. Again, especially, 8, 9, and down. That way, if they do get separated, you got an easy way to contact, to get hold of them. I love some of the creativity and stuff. I wouldn't have thought. Blacklight ink.
They have it in there. They'll have a black light in their pocket, and they just have it there.
That'd be neat. Look, you're glowing.
Or when you need that rest. Hey, look at your arm. It's green.
We are always really honest with our kids about, we look up height requirements and things like that before we go to the park. And we usually find that on the app, if the theme park has an app. So we're honest about, I know you want to ride this, but the height requirement, it won't allow you to. So we might have to wait until you get a little bit bigger, a little bit older. That way, when we get to the park and they see that big ride that they really wanted to ride, they already know, man.
But can't you just stuff brochures in their shoes?
I'm sure people get creative like that, but we are not.
I've worked at amusement places too, and the things that they would try to do, like shoes that are 3-inch platform heels.
Yes.
Really, it's a safety issue. It's not that we don't want them to ride. We want them to have fun, but it's for their safety.
We don't want them falling off or getting hurt or getting thrown around or respect the rules. Teach your kids to respect the rules.
Right.
Not just looking for name tags if there's a problem, but also if somebody with a name tag says something, to do something, to say, okay, they're an authority figure, I will do that. I think that's most of our list, but if you've got other tips, hints, suggestions, if you've got kids, if you had kids that have gone through this, I'd love to hear it. Share it in the description below. Again, I want to say a huge thank you to Paul and to Jamie for joining me and sharing all this, because it's fun when I get talking with people because I can remember, oh yeah, we used to do that. But mine are old enough you forget it. So those of you who've got young ones, feel free to share your other tips and advice and other things we may have missed. We'd love to hear it. Thank you again so much. If you guys have not seen the Branson Fam on YouTube, be sure to check out their channel. I've got a link in the description below for you. Thank you guys so much for coming over. It has been a blast.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We appreciate you so much.
And thank you so incredibly much for watching too. God bless.
Our kids, we really rely. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I'm going to catch you all choked up here.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Our kids.
Our kids.
So one of the things... All right, let me try the intro here first for once, and then I'll... I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts, your comments, your suggestions, your ideas. Be sure to share them in the comments below, or you can contact me. There's information in the description that has my email address, fan pages, information about merchandise, and so much more. So be sure to check that out. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, and if you haven't already, hit the button right up there to subscribe. And in fact, if you did enjoy this, I've even got another video for you right here. And also about these wonderful people here, those are my YouTube members and my patrons, the ones whose financial support makes this possible. I couldn't do it without them. If you want to know more about that and the perks that come with it, well, be sure to check the description. There's a link right down there. Thank you so incredibly much. God bless.